Hi folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Mary here in Japan, and thank you again for checking out another one of my videos. If this is your first time here, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It really helps out my small channel. And also like this video because I think you're gonna get a lot of value out of the content from today. So go ahead and hit that like button. Okay, so today's video is pretty much about why I left Toronto and moved to Tokyo, Japan. You know, recently I made a video about my 4 years experience in Japan, which I'll link below. Definitely check that out. And it really got me reflecting a lot about the original reason of why I left Toronto in particular. Now, I'm a very proud Canadian. Maple syrup, you know, like Raptors. I love Canada. But at the same time, I think at the point in my life when I left Canada when I was, to work full-time when I was 22, I realized that Japan was where there was just more opportunity for me. So let me take it back a little bit. Let me rewind and, you know, kind of start from the beginning. So I'm Nigerian born. I was born in Nigeria in 1994, so you can do the math. And I was raised in Canada, so pretty much me and my family grew up in Canada my whole life. So I know more about Canada than I do about Nigeria, honestly. And growing up in Canada, you know, we lived in the suburb side, like an hour and a half away from downtown Toronto. So I never really experienced that Toronto life, that Canada life that you may see in the movie. Growing up, I would say I had a decent childhood, you know, nothing horrible happened or anything like that made me dislike Canada. But at the same time, because I grew up in a suburban area that was, I would say, low middle class, I really got to see how there wasn't that much opportunity. There wasn't that much drive amongst some of the people around me. Now, I did have great friends who had a lot of drive, but it wasn't the norm. And I always kind of felt like this is a bit of a shame that I don't see as much drive in the people around me. There's not as much opportunities either around me. And even Toronto itself, when you think about the job market, you would think it's finance and healthcare. Those are the kind of the main sectors that people try their best to get into. So it's not as diversified as one would hope. And I didn't think too much about it because, you know, I'm just a kid. I'm just in high school, you know, trying to get to school and things like that. But the spark that got me inspired to start thinking about, wait, what about outside of Toronto, was when I fell in love with reading anime. It's when I fell in love with reading manga and anime. Now, I grew up watching the classic animes like Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, all that kind of stuff. So I was always a bit exposed to a different culture, which was Japan, but I never really thought like, oh, I would live there. Until I was in high school, I started to think more about, wait, if I learned this language, first of all, how cool would that be if I learned Japanese? And then second of all, that would give me the chance to actually then live there, because of course you don't want to go to a new country and not know the language. But once I kind of had that spark of inspiration that, oh, let me actually learn the language, that could be a ticket to go there. So that's where it really all started, where I started more heavily researching about Japan, what the culture was like, what kind of opportunities were there, and I was amazed. Now, imagine you are a, you know, 18-year-old student, 17-year-old student who has never really left the country. I never traveled outside of Canada besides with my family to America or Nigeria or something like that. But, you know, never really left the country. Never really did anything too different because you're always so used to your comfort zone. The people around you always kind of do the same thing. So you never really see somebody breaking out or doing something different. But then you have that spark of inspiration that if I can go to this country, the adventure I could have, the potential that I can have in this country is limitless. You know, to a student, it's limitless. And that was what really motivated me to leave Toronto, because in my opinion, I felt staying in Toronto would mean staying in my comfort zone, staying in a place that I could not grow as much as I wanted to, and I could not push myself to grow. Whereas Japan just seemed to have all that opportunity that I can grow, I can learn a new language, I can meet people from all around the world. Now, the great point about Toronto is that Toronto is very multicultural, actually. That's always a selling point for us. But depending on where you live, you actually don't really get to interact with that many different type of people. Maybe one, at least in my area, it was really heavily 2 or 3 cultures, so I didn't really feel that I was expanding in terms of the people I met. But by going to Japan and by being here, I've met all types of people from all types of background. And living here in Japan has really made me realize how important it is to stand out. Now that may sound weird because you probably know Japan is a very homogeneous country. It's a country that values the collective thinking, not standing out. But on the opposite end, it made me realize like, hey, I don't want to be like that. I want to stand out. I want to do something different. So it really pushed me to keep going that path and doing something different. Because unfortunately, just by looking at me, you can tell I am different. So might as well own it. Whereas when I was living in Toronto, honestly, I would say I was actually more reserved type of person, wanted to stay more in my comfort zone. I always stayed at home. I'm a natural homebody, but I always stayed at home in Toronto because it's just so far, it's so hard to get around and go to events and things like that. So even though I may have had a little bit of the spirit to want to do more, I just did not have the resources or the opportunity to do that in Toronto. However, here in Japan, because the city, especially Tokyo where I live in, is so well connected and is such a there's just so much going on that it's almost hard not to get the chance to do something different, not to get the chance to get out of your comfort zone and get out there and meet people and find new opportunities. So that was a major reason why I left Toronto and came to Tokyo and thriving, I would say, actually in Tokyo here compared to when I was in Toronto. Now, don't get me wrong, I honestly think Canada is amazing. It will always be my home base. Actually, I would love to go back to Canada one day. I know right now the best place for my growth is Tokyo still, and this is a place where there's just way more opportunity. We have a thriving tech space, we have a thriving expat community, we have a thriving tourism opportunities. Of course not right now because of the pandemic, but it is normally very thriving. You can not just go around Japan, but you can go to Korea, you can go to Thailand, you can go to Vietnam. And I think that's really important. People don't really realize how important it is to have the opportunity to travel and to expand your horizons and grow your mindset, because when you are in Canada is notorious for being so far away from other countries. It costs an arm and a leg just to travel within Canada, let alone to travel to another country. So when you think of travel, you think like, okay, at most once a year then in Canada. But here in Japan, it's so normal to even do maybe a long weekend trip to another country, or to just go over the weekend to a city that's maybe half across the country. So these are the type of factors that really motivated me to leave Toronto and come to Japan. Now that I've been here 3 years, in total 4 years if you include my study abroad experience, I'm so grateful for the opportunity here. I'm so grateful for the amazing people I met, the community I've been able to develop, not only within my share house but at work, and also other friends that I've made. And I almost wish that more people would travel, more people would try to live abroad, because it really just changes your whole perspective on life. Now, it may not be feasible for everybody, I understand, but you can even just have 1, 2, 3 years living abroad, you'll just be a better person from it. And the reason I really wanted to make this video as well is because when I was a student, when I was 16, 17, 18, and I was thinking about living abroad, I wish I had this kind of video of somebody talking about the experience, talking about the how they did it, and just sharing a bit more of what their life is like, because I didn't know what it would be like for me. I was really scared. But I'm here to say that if you ever are thinking about living abroad or want to do it, you will not regret it. Just do it. Have a game plan. Maybe give yourself, okay, a 2-year timeline, a 3-year timeline, and then go for it. It's the best thing you can do. So I hope you enjoyed this video of why I left Toronto and moved to Tokyo, Japan. And if you did like it, please hit that like button and also hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I noticed actually a lot of my viewers are not subscribed, so come on people, just subscribe and help a girl out. So it's your girl Mary here in Japan. I wish you a lovely rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.